My best friend of 15 years ruined my wedding. Not by accident. Not out of jealousy she couldn't control. She planned it. Over months. And she stood next to me at the altar, smiling like she hadn't spent half a year quietly destroying everything I'd worked for. Kara and I had been friends since we were 9 years old. 26 years of friendship. She was the first person I called when I got engaged. She cried. I cried. I asked her to be my maid of honor the same night, and she said yes before I finished the sentence. Looking back, I can see exactly when it started going wrong. But when you trust someone that much, you explain away the warning signs. You tell yourself you're imagining things. I wasn't. The first thing she sabotaged was the venue. I found the perfect place, a vineyard about an hour outside the city. I asked Kara to handle the deposit while I was traveling for work, gave her the account details and everything. When I got back, she told me the venue had double booked and given our date to someone else. I was devastated. I spent weeks finding an alternative. It was only a year later that the original venue coordinator told me no such double booking had ever happened. They'd simply never received a deposit. Then the caterer. We'd agreed on a menu after 3 tastings. Kara handled the final confirmation call because I had a work deadline. The caterer showed up on the wedding day with an entirely different menu. Cheaper, wrong dietary accommodations, nothing we'd chosen. When I called to complain after the wedding, the caterer read me the email confirming the menu change. It was sent from Kara's address. She told the caterer I'd changed my mind and wanted to cut costs. By this point, I was starting to sense something was off, but I still couldn't point the finger at my best friend. Then, 2 days before the wedding, the photographer called me. Not Kara, me, directly, because he'd gotten a message from my number, telling him the wedding had been postponed and his services wouldn't be needed. Someone had spoofed my phone number, sent a cancellation to the photographer from what looked like my contact. He'd almost canceled. He showed up because he called to confirm, and I answered with zero idea what he was talking about. At that point, I was 2 days from my wedding, and I still hadn't connected the dots to Kara. I thought someone was genuinely trying to ruin my day. A stranger, a hacker, someone random. I couldn't fathom it was the woman standing in my living room helping me steam my dress. The wedding happened. It was imperfect, but it happened. And it wasn't until the reception that everything came out. My new husband's brother, who works in cybersecurity, had been helping me investigate the phone spoofing. He pulled me aside during dinner and showed me what he'd found. The spoof had been purchased from a specific service. The account used to buy was registered to an email address I recognized. It had Kara's name in it, an old address she'd used in college that I'd seen on a document years ago. I stood there in my wedding dress, reading it 3 times. I confronted Kara the morning after the wedding. She denied it for about 10 minutes, and then she stopped and went very quiet. And then she said, "You were supposed to choose me first." She'd been in love with my husband since before we got together. She'd never told me. She'd spent 2 years watching us fall in love, and instead of saying anything, she decided that if she couldn't have him, she'd at least take the wedding from me. That's what she told me, standing in my kitchen the morning after my wedding. Like it made sense. I haven't spoken to Kara since. I've considered legal action. Some of what she did likely qualifies as fraud or harassment. But honestly, I'm too tired. What I do know is this. 15 years of memories have been permanently altered. Every sleepover, every phone call, every time she listened to me talk about how happy I was, I now hear it differently. She was listening for weaknesses. And that's a kind of betrayal that doesn't have a clean ending. Would you have pressed charges? Or just walked away? Let me know.